All right. I'm probably live. I'll find out in a minute if I am. Good morning, everybody. Sunday, well, morning here in Las Vegas. Afternoon elsewhere, evening in other places. I don't know what the hell it is on Mars, but hello. Yeah, Lady Wendolyn sees me. How's it going? I am like running on fumes here. I am so tired lately, man, between work and everything else. But I'm doing the stream. I'm getting the stream done one way or another. We'll see. Have no idea if anybody's going to see this or not. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some folks popping up in the chat. If not, I will just ramble for a while because I got a little road trip I have to do afterwards. And that's why I'm like kind of on edge a little bit too. I'm tired and I'm on edge. I don't know, man. Anyways, but by and large, everything's good. Man of War, hail, sir. What's cooking? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a quiet week. Not a ton going on. But earlier in the week, Danielle Spencer, who played Dee on What's Happening, passed away. She's cool, man. Like, Dee was a funny character, and she had this real deadpan sort of delivery, which is mostly a lot of like insults directed towards her older brother and her friends. You got a lot of that from Shirley Hempel, actress, Shirley the character, as well. It was a funny show, but she, she did a little acting and then she moved on and became a veterinarian. So like, I always like seeing, this sounds terrible, but I always like when I see actors go on to actually become, useful members of society. Which she did. Every day, yeah, you're right, dude. It is. I'm just tired. I'm drained, man. Work has been draining. I will say this about corporate America. Like, you got 25 years, you got 30 years, you're top of your game. Somebody new gets in charge, and it doesn't necessarily matter. They got things they want to do. They got stuff they want to push ahead, and they're going to push it ahead. And in corporate America, unfortunately, it's like there's somebody new in charge every year. On one level or another. It's not the same person, but on one level or another. And I'm hitting that age. I'm hitting that age where it's like, dude, I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to prove myself anymore. Like, I've done it. And this is not even like empty bragging. I've won awards in my industry and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm just like hitting that point where it's like, dude, I just kind of want to like cruise the next decade or so to retirement. But I've got some effort I'm going to have to put forward, especially lately. And it's just how it is. And so I'm just freaking tired. But like you said, man, I'm alive. I got a good job. Got a good family. Got a lot of nonsense toys floating around. Got Data standing back there ready to blow my head off with a phaser. What more can a man ask for? Anyhow, so we did lose Danielle Spencer, but then today, just before the stream, dude, Terrence Stamp, General Zod, passes away. And much more than General Zod, this guy was a freaking actor. You call it a character actor. I just call it an actor. He wasn't a personality who shows up and plays himself and gets huge payoffs. This dude was an actor. There's so many roles he did where you're like, you don't even realize who you're looking at first, because he not only looks different, because he looks the way he needs to look for the role, but he's acting different. It's, you know what I mean? Like there's actors who kind of, even character actors, but they get put into the same kind of role over and over again. You know, a guy's a gangster and he's playing a gangster a lot, right? And that's not Stamp, dude. So General Zod, kind of his first big movie was Billy Budd. I reviewed him in Modesty Blaze not that long ago, and he's friggin' rad in Modesty Blaze. Even doing some singing and stuff. My daughter probably best knows him from The Haunted Mansion, that movie with Eddie Murphy, which I have to say is actually a pretty decent flick. I kind of had fun with that one, and I expected not to. But he's in that playing the butler in the mansion and stuff. So God bless him and Godspeed, man. Terrence Stamp was awesome. Oh, forced to stream at Phaser Point. Data's harsh but fair. I'll just say that. And I almost needed somebody to point a phaser at me to stream today, because like I just want to sort of lay on a couch and do nothing. But anyway, so rest in peace to Danielle Spencer. Rest in peace to Terrence Stamp. A couple goodies. Also, apparently, rest in peace to Superman's theatrical run, which I guess they're going video on demand now for like a $25 rental. I'm like, dude, no. You could buy it for $29. It's still digital, which I wouldn't do. It's like I have physical media or nothing. I'm not buying digital crap that you idiots are going to take away at some point in the future. I swear to God, like, dude, it's the tech companies, and we all complained about like oil companies or car companies and planned obsolescence. Dude, the tech companies have got to be the absolute bottom of the barrel for morality and ethics. You genuinely have to treat all of them like your enemy. You are making a deal with the devil every time you buy a Microsoft product or whatever. These people have no qualms about lying to your face, about stealing things, they are the freaking bottom of the barrel. So I ain't buying no digital nothing. It's got to be physical. I've got to own it. And I'm going to be putting it in an object that will not be communicating with the internet in any way, shape, or form. And that makes me outdated as hell. Fine. If I have to, dude, I will find a way to burn what I got onto like a DVD so I can watch it, because I don't want nothing to do with y'all. But, so $29 to buy and $25 to rent. Like, if I can buy it for $29, why in the hell would I rent it for $25? Crazy. But at any rate, it's going on video on demand. And apparently the reason, according to James Gunn, is because Peacemaker's coming on the air in the season 2 a month earlier than he thought, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. And he wants to make sure people can see Superman before they watch Peacemaker season 2. And I'm like, so it had to go video on demand. It couldn't just stay in the theaters. Dude, people were pretty much done with it in the theaters at this point of the game. He strikes me as one of those dudes who just kind of like, I don't know, like he lies when he doesn't even need to lie. I don't know. I don't know that he's lying. I don't know that he's lying, but I get the feeling he's lying. It doesn't really make that much sense. So I looked at like our final domestic box office for Soups, and it's kind of grinding down for that Fantastic Four. Man, they are definitely basically kind of bottom of the barrel when it comes to superhero films that are supposed to found franchises or multiple sequels or universes and all that. Yeah, I mean, they're creaking in at the very bottom. And if you look at it from a standpoint of like tickets sold compared to the population, they're the lowest. They're the lowest. Yeah, it's going to be an uphill climb, I think, for the DCU and for the renewed MCU to get going. I honestly thought both these movies were going to do better than they did. And a lot of that's down to the international, not even the domestic. But yeah, it's kind of crazy because I think both of them, Obviously, they had naysayers, but both of them seemed like they got, the Superman had a lot of people who really dug it, and it seemed like it got invoked more emotion in either direction than Fantastic Four. But the Fantastic Four, a lot of people seemed at least okay with it, if not liking it. So I thought, the reviews are not like massively horrible or anything. They'll probably do okay, but not so much. What we got in the chat here from Man of War? Last thing I bought digitally was a WoW expansion several years back. Never again. Yeah. I mean, I get it maybe in a way when it comes to some of the video games because of the way they're kind of online, like designed that way. For the playing overline, playing them online. So I kind of maybe get that. But yeah, like, dude, there's just too much jiggery pokery from the tech companies for my tastes. I do not trust them in the least, or in fact, I trust them implicitly to always do the wrong thing. And what bothers me the most is everything they do now is geared basically towards getting as much of your personal information and tracking you as much as possible as they can. And I don't know why. Outside of working with 3-letter agencies or something like that, they certainly aren't using any of the data they collect for like the advertising algorithm, right? I mean, I obviously am on YouTube a lot because I do videos on YouTube and I watch a lot of stuff as well, some of it to prepare for videos. So they should have a pretty good idea of what I'm interested in overall. It's not, because I don't forage far and wide on YouTube. In fact, I'm one of those guys who's like, this doesn't interest me, this doesn't interest me, this doesn't interest me, to keep my feed like pretty tight on the stuff that I'm interested in. So they should know. And I have never in my life seen a commercial on YouTube that was a product I would buy. Outside maybe of stuff that's just like, paper towels or something. That's just a general basic thing. Nothing. Now that may be that the people that make things I'm interested in, they don't advertise on YouTube. I don't know. But it's like, what are you using the algorithm for, man? It doesn't seem to be getting you anywhere. Why do you need all of this data? I think their attitude is just like, because we can. Like, they want something measurable, and it's measurable, so let's do it. And you're like, okay, but where's the point where you get paid? Where's the, and I see this with a lot of marketing nowadays. Like, we can track clicks, we can track likes. So we want to get as many likes as possible. And you're like, okay, well, how many of those likes turn into do-re-mi for your company? And I don't think any of them can answer that, even close to becoming answer that. So we're getting that a lot of times in corporate too, just we want more of that. And they're going, why, man? Like, why? Is it making us any money? Doesn't seem like it's making us any money. I talk to the people I work with who make the money for the firm, and none of this stuff seems to feed into them at all. But it's measurable, so let's do it. It's not complaining. Oh, man. I know, the interwebs, Man of War. My age is showing for sure. It is. Oh, it is. Dude, okay, so here, let's get some good news. Looney Tunes is now on Tubi. Dude, like something like 789 shorts. They break them down into these 3 short episodes, meaning an episode containing 3 short subject films. So there's like obviously a crap ton of episodes. They all have it just as a season 1. I just started scrolling and I gave up about episode 139 of like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I just wondered how far it would go. It's going to go very far. So I've watched the first 4 of these. So 12 shorts, and these are black and whites. And it's primarily the early ones. You don't really have characters in them yet, like they were going to last. And it's their early stuff was like Warner Brothers has a new song in some new musical movie. And so make a short around that song to help sell the song, probably selling records, actually even sheet music back then. So that's pretty much the short, is just like it goes into some song and they're all dancing around. But I'm telling you what, man, they're freaking nuts. Not the first one, but it's in the first episode. Maybe it's the second short. There is this long scene where this horse is drinking and he is like screwed up. And he's like walking and there's, through like a room where all these people are. And he's just kind of like swinging back and forth and all that. And he gets up to the bar and there's a mirror and he's having hallucinations of these like monsters in the mirror freaking him out. And then he's like, dude, all I gotta say is some of these things are crazy. They're like the Max Fleischer, like Betty Boop shorts, where they're just like, dude, they were just, it's like the whole world was opened up to them. We could do, the way a lot of people are getting crazy about like AI, where they can take a picture and make it move. And they're just like, it's the guy. This is like these guys, except it was a lot more work. But it was like, oh my God, we figured out how to make cartoons. What other crazy crap can we do with this stuff? They're pretty fun, man. They're pretty fun. So we're going to be watching a lot of these, I believe. It'd probably take us like a couple, 3 years. We finally finished watching all the Dark Shadows episodes, which is like over, I think, 1,000, because it was a soap opera. So it was on every day. And I felt like, for a fat nerd, that was quite a big accomplishment. Hey, I sat and watched over 1,000 episodes of a TV show. And Looney Tunes is going to be even more so, man. It's like, it's insane. Any rate, so that's good news. It's on Tubi. Tubi's free. Check it out. It's fun. I also saw this, man. Garfield crossover with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I think it was last week. It was Turtles crossover with Hello Kitty. Now, again, they did one with the Turtles, and Masters of the Universe. Yeah, those figures were out at the same time. It's like heroic action adventure for kids. Makes sense. Where's the fan base crossover for Garfield and the Turtles? I mean, I get it. Like, there's Turtles super fans who will collect anything they're involved with, right? Great. And there's Garfield super fans, but I got to think that's not a massive number of people. How many just regular folks are going to see this and be like, oh, I've got to have it. Oh my God. Finally. I've been waiting for this. It was obvious. I did. They're running out of stuff to mash up and rip off. That's pretty much it. There was just something else I saw that was like a sequel. Justine Bateman was online making fun of it. And I can't remember what it was now. I was talking to my wife about this just yesterday, I think it was. And I'm like, I can't remember what it was, but it was another one of those like sequels to something from 30 years ago. And you're just like going, God damn. And look at what they've been successful with like this year. I mean, the Jurassic thing was pretty successful. It did pretty well. The Lilo and Stitch did pretty well. Okay. But, that F1, was it F1? Flick did pretty well, I believe. You had the Oppenheimer, which did decent, especially for what it was, like a drama. The day of the drama pulling in huge audiences is somewhat over. And this one did pretty well in that regard. It's like, I mean, even Barbie, it's like it's an original movie. It's based on a toy line, but like it's not a remake of a remake of a remake or something. So you're doing pretty well with things that are a little more original in terms of properties or something that we haven't seen in live action really before. Why don't you focus on that a little bit more? I don't know, man. I don't know. But God bless Garfield and the Turtles. Anyways, let's do a couple review acquisition things, stuff that's shown up lately in the den. Of course, this one this week was kind of big. The Horseman #1. Now, they did a Horseman graphic novel, Rippaverse. Character created by Joe Bennett and Chuck Dixon, who's sort of a Punisher kind of character. Guns, taking down guys on the street level, a lot of violence, etc. Did well. So now they've edged in it for a series. Dixon's already, like, I think, written issue 3, and he's going. He's like, he's loving it, right? So how'd they do with this one? I liked it. It was good. I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing so far from Rippaverse, or even from Chuck Dixon at Rippaverse, but I did enjoy it. It was pretty solid. It's setting up a story, so it's not complete in one issue. You know, the graphic novel, and I'm not going to worry about spoilers now, was basically about this dude who keeps getting in over his head, right? He's maybe got more courage than he has brains. Hector is his name. He's ex-GI. Seems like he served in Iraq. Now, there's a slightly different, let me show the first page. There's a slightly different world history to the Rippaverse, you know, than what's in our world. So I'm not sure exactly how that factors in, but he was part of the 4 Horsemen, which is where his name comes from. And he kind of talks about how, you know, they were good, they were the best, and his friends, they didn't make it ultimately. And he doesn't know what to do with his life. He's working as a delivery guy. You know, maybe there's a little PTSD in there to some extent. At least he's got like this trigger reaction of saving people. He reacts to a scream that turns out to just be kids playing in their backyard at one point. And he gave up for his sister-in-law. He lost his brother at some point, but he gave up for her this whole Horseman thing. And also Alpha Core said, "You're done, buddy," you know. Well, then a mysterious benefactor shows up. "I will equip you. I will pay your way. I got places you could use for your headquarters. I want you back on the streets, taking things down." And we don't know if we can trust this guy or not. So he decides to do it because, frankly, he kind of hates his job and he feels like, I'm not really doing anything for anybody, you know, in my life. And it's interesting, as he gets back into it, he's showing a little bit more sense. He creates a really cool armored vehicle that he can use. Obviously, he's going to run into Alpha Core at some point here. He's in the same town. They already told him no once. So what's he going to do about that? It'll be interesting seeing how this proceeds. But good book, good art. I enjoyed it. I say give it a try if you're, you know, a fan of the Punisher, of maybe a Daredevil, characters like that. You might dig the Horseman. Some good stuff. What do we got from Man of War over here? Single issue I have with Tubi. Is there ad breaks? Yeah. The ad breaks were pretty good on the Looney Tunes. It was like one break after, I want to say, the second cartoon. And they did get it nailed. So it didn't cut the cartoon in the middle, but some of them are terrible. And it's funny. There are times where I'll watch Tubi and like get almost no ads at all. And then there's times where it's like constant, just constant. So it's like they're still trying to figure that stuff out. To me, it's like, again, you had network television. That's your model, right? So what do you get? You get an ad break between episodes. And the episodes were in 30-minute or 1-hour slots. So between Family Ties and between whatever was on after Family Ties, I don't know, Knight Rider, I'm making that up. You got a commercial, right? And you're gonna have a commercial between Knight Rider and whatever comes after it. So beginning and end, basically. And then if it's 30 minutes, you got an ad break in the middle, generally speaking. And if it's an hour long, you'll have 2. They kind of break it up like that. You should be able to do that. And frankly, you should be able, with these, you know, TV shows to figure, especially the old ones, to figure out where those should come. Now, if it's a movie, it's going to be a little more complicated. But yeah, I mean, the ad breaks, I think, are a little shorter than they would have been on network TV, and then they're more frequent. I'd make them not as frequent, a little longer, maybe 2 or 3 ads. You know, I don't know. They'll figure it out, but it seems like, dude, you got a model to work off of that was ridiculously successful. Why don't you just freaking use that? So that's the Horseman #1. Quick review. I might do a longer one. I haven't decided yet. Because I do try to avoid spoilers, and I'm not giving you any spoilers for this one, but it's a goodie. It's a first issue follow-up, so you don't have to get the origin of the character, but it's a first issue, and I think it does set up, you know, for future storylines of, you know, who the players are, what the stakes are, and it suggests, you know, how's this going to work, how's that going to work. So I dig Chuck Dixon. He writes good adventure comics, and so I'll keep up with Horseman, I believe. I will add that to my repertoire. Also delivered this week, and this took a while. I was almost surprised when it actually showed up when they said it would, because they changed their minds 2 or 3 times. I got the Cheetara Masters of the Universe figure. Let me see if I can straighten it up. I'm doing a terrible job here. There we go. So now she came in the package in some sort of Masters of the Universe type gear. So you had a different hair change out that has like a little sort of a helmety tiara thing. You had this sort of, you know, armor, which looks more like a corset. You had the boots with the fur on them, right? And then you could swap stuff out to make her look more like the original character from the Thundercats. So I did a review video yesterday showing off her and showing off the new Marvel Legends She-Hulk. And so I'm like, well, let me do the conversion, you know, and oh my God, it takes a while getting this thing, because you could see how like form-fitting this thing is to the character. Now the character, the action figure does pop apart, like at the waist, and the legs can be removed, and the head and stuff, to make it easier to do that stuff. But it was a trial, man. And I'm going, there is no freaking way I am ever converting it back, which is fine though, because I dig the look of it. I think it's a really good job they did on this one. I know this is getting a little blurry. It's hard sometimes with that. Here, actually, let me do that. Maybe if I, there we go, kind of cover up the sun. Get a slight, but I think they did a real nice sculpt with it, honestly. And looks good. Now it also came, or not, didn't come with, I shouldn't say that. You can also get a Lion-O and a Battle Cat Man, which I didn't have much interest. I thought about maybe the Lion-O, but at the time I was like, no, I'll just get the one. I want to check out the figures, see how they do with it, see how it looks. And it looks pretty good. Did a nice job. So I think Friday I'm posting that video. So you tune in on Friday and get a closer look at both those and some of the change outs and some of the accessories that go with them. It's been a little while since I did one of those, did like a toy review video, it feels like. What else did I? Oh yeah, the only other things I really picked up this week from the local comic shop, new facsimile edition of Fantastic Four. They're going to issue 12, so I'm going to grab all those because I love me some early Fantastic Four. And then in the dollar bin, and this is a facsimile, which interestingly enough, a dollar bin for this facsimile, also on the shelves at the comic shop for more. So I'm like, oh, well, what the hell? Let me grab it. Like, unless this is an earlier facsimile they did, maybe it is. Because the facsimiles lately have had the ads, the comic book ads, and this doesn't. I mean, it does have an ad for Room Org. I think this is an older facsimile. Well, either way, I had the original back in the day. I collected the George Perez run, and I was kind of like, no, do I want to grab them again? I don't know, but God, there was just a ton of them in the dollar bin. So I'm like, all right, for $1 each, I'll grab them. And I might fill out like the first 2 or 3 years, little by little as I go. I don't know if I'll go much further than that, but the George Perez art was awesome. Yeah, Stroglitis is fine. Dude, I was literally like going, am I going to have to like cut this? Because the thing was, so they give you this little, look, I think I folded it up in here. Yeah. So they give you this little instruction thing, right? So here's the instructions. Look, it can look this way or it can look that way. And they don't tell you much more. Now, obviously the boots had to pop off. It's the only way you're going to change those out. Okay, good enough. I get that. But like, I didn't know if the legs were removable for sure. I don't know. I certainly didn't realize it would split at the waist. I didn't think that would for sure. And I just like, I don't want to go in here and just start ripping stuff apart that I can't put together later because I'm an idiot and I don't know, what I'm doing. So it was like, dude, give me like a little bit more to show me what comes apart. But trying to get that thing off, I'm like going, okay, like I got to be missing something because this is, and I will say this, it's a lot stretchier than I thought it would be. In terms of pulling it down, you had to kind of pull it down over the arms, which don't go tight. So you have to sort of work it. And then you got to really pull this thing down and sort of little by little. And then I finally popped it off and I'm like, yes. And then that's when I noticed that like her, the bit under the waist was still stuck inside of it. I was like, oh, well, I guess that comes off. Or I hope it comes off. If it doesn't, I'm in trouble. It did. So, yeah, it was like, I'm just always afraid I'm going to break something, and then I'm screwed. And I don't, so I just have I have no faith in my ability not to screw things up. That's my problem when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because frankly, I have broken things in the past. And, anyways, it's one of those videos, like I just keep the video rolling while I'm doing all this, and then I'll edit it out later. That's the easiest way to do it. And I'm going, this video is probably going to be like 30 minutes long before I edit it. And it's probably going to be about 12 minutes long when I'm done because it took forever. I mean, I also was taking them out of the packages. And the She-Hulk Fantastic Four package went pretty easy. That wasn't too bad. Getting her out was a little tougher because I had some of the little, the little straps in there to hold it in and stuff like that. Oh my God. Anyways, that's what I was doing with my day yesterday. That, and I did a Land of the Lost review because Land of the Lost is awesome. All right. So let's look at some of the new things coming out that were announced this week. Man, we're already a half hour into this, baby. Let's do that because obviously I got to definitely get out of here at some point to go drive to a little birthday party for somebody. Why am I shifting over? That ain't going to work. Okay, so let's roll through these real quick. McFarlane Toys currently has Obsidian and Mr. Bones 7-inch figures. Both these characters are from Infinity Incorporated. So we're talking 80s characters. And they were, Mr. Bones was like, let's see, Obsidian was, I wrote this down, so I might as well actually read what I wrote. He first appeared in All-Star Squadron number 5, 1983. He is the son of Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, and Rose Canton, i.e. Thorn. And he's the twin brother of Jade. So Infinity Incorporated were, at least initially, kind of like the kids of the original Justice Society of America. Mr. Bones was introduced in Infinity Incorporated number 16 back in 85. Low-level supervillain who reformed and joined the team. And this is the figure that's just, to me, it's pretty awesome. And I've thought long and hard about it. Because, what was it, man? Oh, the old Games Workshop is, yeah. Oh, don't get me started on Games Workshop. They have a lot more of my money than they probably deserved. So this one, they're both $28, and I've thought about this one just because, damn, it looks good. And with the cape, it's a little mixed media. That is rad. Now, as of yesterday, they were still available for sale at McFarlane Toys. They can also be purchased as a pair. No, well, I mean, maybe you'd have to, yeah. I mean, some of the, Jade was pretty cute, so maybe, dude. Maybe Lone Dragon, I don't know. But, yeah, if you buy two of them, then it would be Mr. Yeah. Anyways, so they're shipping in October. But you can also buy them as a pair. They did a real nice job on that one. And then the Obsidian one looks cool, too. He just wasn't as, I wasn't as into that character. So Hasbro had a couple pre-orders pop up this week. These are like Marvel Legends. Dr. Doom, who is now sold out. So you're out of luck on that, dude. He sold out, I think, pretty quick. But also, Ghost Rider, who is still available, $25. So not a bad price. Both are likely shipping in November. And I think both of them are just really nice sculpts. And I think they're in that 7-inch category too. So you could pit him up against Mr. Bones and, they can go skull to skull. But that's from Hasbro. So if you go to Hasbro's website, I want to say they're there. And I think they might have showed up on Amazon, but I don't know if they're still available through that. If you missed out, though, on Doom, and you're more of a mutant fan, Gambit and Rogue playing basketball, apparently based on the recent X-Men 97 cartoon. And by the way, the dude who did that cartoon, he is, as my daughter would say, he is spilling the tea lately on some of the rank incompetence within the Marvel organization, which frankly, if you've been watching Marvel, the MCU for the last 5 or so years, it will not come as a huge surprise to anybody that there's a lot of incompetence there. But any rate, though, I mean, I didn't watch the old X-Men cartoon. I was a little old for it, and if I'm honest, I just really didn't like the animation. But I know that it is massively popular with that generation who watched it. And so, I think a lot of people liked the 97 one that they did overall. I didn't see it, but I mean, these look pretty good though. And look at the motion, look at the posing. It's pretty darn impressive. Although I don't know, Gambit looks like a guy who would be trying to sell you drugs on the corner. It's never a Gambit fan, but anyhow, NECA is ramping up for Halloween with a 4-pack of Universal Monster figures. You got Frankie, you got Drac, you got Wolfman, you got Mummy. These are 7-inch figures. Now it's $100 for the lot, so for all 4. It's expected to ship in first quarter of 2026, so upwards of March 2026. So you're not getting these in time for Halloween or anything like that, and you're not getting these in time for Christmas. They are inspired by the line of classic movie monsters released by Imperial back in 1986. And they do actually show, and I think when they say inspired, I think it's primarily the paint jobs that are inspired, although there's a little goofiness to that Frankenstein, but they do show you the examples of the different ones. There's your Wolfman, what he looks like. There's your Mummy, who strikes me as maybe having childbearing hips. Maybe that's just me. There's your Dracula. So again, $100 for all four of them, which is frankly a little more than I need to pay for that. And I see Man of War saying he's paused on buying figures after the Icon Conan, or Savage, Black and White Classic Notes for yeah, exactly. You know, some of these are not cheap, man, and you grab the ones you really like. I buy more than I need, and it's partly so I could do reviews of them on the channel, you know, and also partly because I'm a big idiot. But $100 for these four, yeah, that's more than I need. I'm not super in love with them, but I thought I'd show them off for people just in case. And for the girls out there, the loyal subjects, they put out this Jim figurine. It's like 12 inches, so it's like a Barbie type figure. They put it out as a Walmart exclusive. And if you watch these live streams, you know what I think of Walmart exclusives. They don't know how to do them on their websites. They cancel a lot of orders on you. Frankly, they suck. Well, now it's available for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. And usually that's not how exclusives work. So I'm wondering if they got fed up with Walmart as well. So $35, not a bad price. I mean, like you could buy that for kids, for girls, for, you know, well, and whoever, try to be modern, right? But come on, for girls, let's be honest, for Christmas or for what have you. 35 is a pretty good sell through. So that's up now. So it's estimated to arrive in November. So you would get it in time for Christmas if you decided to do that. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that it was a Walmart exclusive and now it's being sold elsewhere. I'm like, does that mean something? Or maybe it was only ever meant to be exclusive on Walmart for a little while. Hold on your money and then cancels the pre-order. Yes. Yeah. And they did that exact Lone Dragon. They did that exactly to me on two different figures. And it was a pain in the ass just to order them in the first place because they'll put the thing up for sale like a minute before it's supposed to go on. Right. And you go, well, it's a minute. It's whatever. It's available. Okay. Hit buy. And you go through the entire process. And then it's like, well, we can't sell this to you. You started a minute too early. Well, dude, I couldn't start a minute too early unless you made it possible for me to start a minute too friggin' early. And then now I've spent 2 or 3, 4 minutes going through this. Okay, well, now it's up for sale legitimately. Oh, well, it's all gone. You're like, what the hell are you doing? Walmart sucks. They stop using Walmart for exclusives, guys. They don't know how to set their website up properly. To do it, they lose things. I mean, the Mego Atlas figure that I got, well, the box of figures was stolen, so we can't give them to anybody. What are you talking about? Are you serious? Friggin' yeah. Now, let's be honest. Walmart sucks anyways. It's good for cheap crap, and that's about all it's good for, and it's about all it's ever been good for. I am in a surly mood. I want to get controversial here and tell people that Walmart sucks. Anyways, from Acoustic Learning, Alley Oop meets Napoleon. Okay, so these are Alley Oop comic strips from 1947, where I guess the caveman was traveling through time or something. I don't know, man. I haven't read enough Alley Oop, but I do love old comic strips. This one is going to be in shops in October 2025. So it's not like a pre-order type thing. But it's $27.50 suggested retail price. I didn't write down how many pages. I'm assuming it's probably a fairly thick book. So if you're into old comic strips, Alley Oop, you want to check that out. Manowar says, oh, and I almost forgot, I have the crowdfund Fire and Ice board game from Diamond Entertainment that they swear they are still fulfilling. Yeah, I think you mentioned that to me one other time. That's still, yeah, dude, I have about maybe 3 or 4 comic crowdfunds that I know I'm never going to get. 2 of which I'm really bummed about. 1 of which, if I'd realized who was actually behind it, because he sort of changed his name, I wouldn't have done it in the first place. I got to say, though, most of that stuff I've been pretty good on. I've gotten what I ordered, but yeah, was Diamond Entertainment like any relation to the Diamond distributors, or is that just I don't know. Lone Dragon says, I pre-ordered 2 Ninjors from Amazon, then pre-ordered a BC Skeletor. They shipped 1 Ninjor in the same box as Skeletor from the other order, and the second Ninjor is still delayed, not yet shipped. Yeah, that's kind of what happened with this, with the Cheetara was, it's like, well, you're going to get this a little later than we said, which at the time was fine. It was no big deal, but whenever that happens, you're always going, oh God, am I going to get it or not? And their revised date, it showed up on the revised date. So I'll give them credit. I've generally had more success with Amazon when it comes to that kind of thing. I don't think I've had any problems there. And I haven't had any trouble with Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. They've both been fine. What's the one? Well, White Elephant Toys, it always gets things going pretty good. In fact, I got a cool one coming from them. Hopefully show up maybe next week or the week after. There's another one. I can't think of what it is, but they saw a lot of Mego stuff and Lincoln Monsters. And they've been pretty good too. So it seems like it's Walmart. They're disorganized. It's a corporation. They're disorganized, and they just don't really care. They have enough customers flowing through that they just don't really care. That's the problem. Sometimes the little guys, they might be a little more expensive. And obviously, if it's a little guy, they can have some issues. But they typically care more about their customers than a Walmart will, because they need every customer to survive. So they do try to do a good job. I mean, hell, I've gotten really good service just from people on eBay. There's some folks on there who, like, I had this one. I got an old Superpowers Aquaman figure from the 80s. Good price. And it shipped. And it was one of those things where I'm going, it's been a while. Where's this thing? I look, it was stuck in Ohio. But the person actually emailed me and said, hey, it looks like it's stuck in Ohio. I'm not sure why. But it's like, dude, she mailed it, man. She did her job. And she was still kind of like, I'm sorry, and it's like, you're awesome because you didn't have to care. You did all you could do. So what do we got here? This is from Screenbound Pictures, coming October 6th, a release of the British kaiju movie Gorgo in 4K with a ton of accessories. If you're into Gorgo, I'll be honest, it wasn't one of my favorites, but it's kind of cool. It's British kaiju, so it's got a little rarity there. But they put a lot of stuff, posters, a comic book, a making of documentary, the lobby card art, a gallery of toys and collectibles, production notes, etc. Now, this you got to buy from the UK. Screenbound Pictures is a UK company. £30, and I do not know, A, what the conversion is at the moment, B, what the shipping's going to be. So it might be a little expensive. But it is region code free, so you could watch this in the US on a Blu-ray player or whatever. That won't be a problem. Property to the package. Oh yeah, I got the ROM too, Man of War, and they did do a good job on that too. Yeah, they did. I know, and I never end up doing the collector grade because I'm such a cheap bastard. Well, also because I open all the things up anyway. So. Entertainment shipped my 2 IG bats in January and has yet shipped the 2 IG from the same pre-order. They came in the same case. Yeah, you might have to follow up with them. I know, none of them are perfect, but god damn, Walmart pisses me off. Because they have the money and the resources, they should be pretty damn good at this by now. And it seems like they're still trying to figure out what this whole interwebs thing is. Aside from like paper towels and crap, they're fine with that, but from Archie Comics, a new Josie and the Pussycats Anniversary Spectacular coming November 19th. If you're into, well, Josie, I know. When I saw the £30 thing just now, I was like, why did I put the weight? Oh, yeah, that's the money. Because I typed out pounds so I would read it properly. It could be kind of heavy, though. There's a lot of stuff in there. So if you're into Josie and all that stuff, they got that coming. Now for something completely different. Matt Wagner, Kelly Jones, and Jose Villarrubia have released a look at the covers for Dracula Book 3 of The Count. I think this might be the one where he starts selling chocolate-flavored cereal. But seriously, folks, the Dracula series they're doing is pretty rad. I've read the first one. I think the second is fulfilling like right about now. So they're getting ready for the third book. Dude, the Kelly Jones art is freaking insane. It's gorgeous. It's bloody. It's crazy. It ain't for kids, mature readers only. But if you are into horror, if you're into vampires, Dracula, and I'm not talking the sparkly vampires, you might want to check these out. They'll probably have catch-ups. I don't know for sure, but they might have catch-up tiers as well that you can get in on. But I've been collecting that one, and I'm looking forward to the second book, and I'm definitely going to back this third one. Again, for something completely different. Fantagraphics is releasing the Silver Age tales of Super Goof. This is Goofy in red long johns and a cape fighting crime in Disney Comics. This is part of their series of Disney Masters. This is volume 27, $40 for 236 pages in full color. So if you like a little of the Goofy stuff, you might want to check that out. Fantagraphics does good work, no doubt about it. You can get a facsimile, apparently, of the Marvel 1976 calendar, but it is designed for 2026, naturally. And you can actually find it on calendar.com for $20. And I showed some of the pages off in this, I believe, in my video review of the Captain America Bicentennial Battles. So if you want to see what some of it looks like, but it's pretty cool. It's a wall calendar. It's the old Marvel art, etc. I don't know. It's cool. Once you figure out that you can reuse calendars, like from a certain time period away, because the days line up, you're like going, dude, I could grab like some 70s Star Trek calendars and they would actually work. Oh yeah, I did mention that earlier, Lone Dragon, Terrence Stamp. Yeah. If we could all take a moment to kneel before Zod. Yeah. I pulled out the new Superman Zod figure for that one too. Wife ordered me the collector's box for the Keep 4K from birthday next month. Already had Vinegar Syndrome, but this has the graphic novel and soundtrack CD. Wow, that's cool. I don't know if I saw that. I might have seen that one pop up. I probably should have mentioned it if I did, and I don't think I did, but I've never seen the Keep. I need to, obviously. As many things as I've seen, it's amazing how many I have not seen. It really is. That's why, like, am I going to go to the movies and watch the new Superman flick? I got like 4,000 old movies that I haven't seen yet. It's going to have to be a really awesome Superman movie for me to go watch it instead of watching something else. And frankly, most of these modern things are just not that awesome. Finally, Alternaween. Alterna Comics sells bundles of floppy comics that you can hand out to kids for trick or treat. You get 10 comics for $5, and there are different age ranges. So there's a bundle for 6 and above. There's a bundle for 12 and above. There's a bundle for 17 and above. Neat way to share comic books with kids. You know, you can do it in addition to candy and stuff too, or let the kids pick if they want a comic book or what have you. But you might want to check out, I think they're running low on some of the bundles. So if you're into the idea, you might want to go to alternacomics.com and check it out. It's right there on the front page. You can find it. I think it's a cool idea. And like, you know, we're always saying, man, we got to get more kids looking at comics, reading comics, etc. This is one way to do it for sure. The Horror of the Keep, rampant studio interference by Stella. Okay, dude, I gotta get into that. I love movies that are good when they're not supposed to be. That does it for the new releases. Just a couple things, and because I do need to wrap up here, I got about 6 minutes. Speaking of, well, I don't know if it was interference from the studio. I have been watching the old Brenda Starr movie serial from the 40s, little by little. And so I saw this pop up on Tubi. Brenda Starr, oh, it's that movie with Brooke Shields and Timothy Dalton. Let's give it a try. It did not do well. And it didn't do well for a reason. It is a freaking mess. Like, they were trying to do way too many things in that movie. It's almost, there are elements of it that are kind of incoherent. But I will say this. I will say this. Brooke Shields did fine. Timothy Dalton was awesome. He's not in it enough, but he is rad, as he always is in pretty much everything he does. And, dude, they do a really nice job on the costuming and the art design and stuff like that. It's a pretty movie. And there's actually, like, Charles Durning does a bit in it. Eddie Albert does a bit as a police chief. There's some decent people in it. Jeffrey Tambor is this Russian agent. There's some decent people, but like all the comedy is just the timing's off, or like a character's a little bit going like they're too on, they're trying too hard when it really should have been played more like Airplane or the old Batman series of like, I'm saying everything seriously, even though I know it's ridiculous, which is what Timothy Dalton kind of does. Some of the other actors don't. Some stuff's just a little odd. It's not there. But, it wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But I watched it and I'm going, yeah, I freaking get it. I get why this didn't do that well in the theaters. And I also have never read the comic strip, so I don't know if it's like, I will say this though, the serial that I've been watching is pretty good. I've kind of liked it, man. It's pretty good. It's a lot more just like, Brenda Starr and her photographer are trying to run down, this criminal thing, and the police are involved and stuff too. And it's kind of like just watching a detective movie. They do a good job with it, actually. It's not like your traditional serial where it's a lot of fist fights at the end and, oh my God, a cliffhanger. It doesn't quite do that. It's kind of just like a long form detective story, but it's pretty good. No, I said Brooke. Is she not on the thing? I think she's on there. I said Brooke Shields, but yeah, I think she was actually pretty good in it. She was. She didn't do bad. And then one other actress in it was like, it didn't really work, and it was a character I think they really needed to work. It's just very good saga if you just watch it. That is true. You want to keep up on it. You do. All right. Coming this week in Dad's Den on Monday, Justice League America number 33 and Justice League Europe number 9, doing a review of those. Flip through review like I've been doing every Monday this year as we go towards issue 52. And then we'll flip over to something else. Maybe Walt Simonson Thor. I ain't decided what I want to do yet. On Wednesday, I'm doing a review of Danger Diabolic. If you've never seen it, very stylish. Sort of an Italian-American co-production of Italian comic book character. Very stylish, very cool. You might want to check that out. And then on Friday, like I said, we're doing a little review of She-Hulk and Cheetara, these toys, taking them out of the packages, which obviously did it yesterday, so they're already out of the packages now. Taking them out of the packages, seeing what the, range of movement is and all that kind of stuff. You get some close-ups on the faces. So that's on Friday. And then, her name's not on the thumbnail? Oh. I don't even remember what my thumbnail looked like at the moment, to be honest with you. Did I just not even, I don't know what I did. Like I said, I'm running on fumes, folks. I'm running on fumes. Dying over here. Anyhow, I think that will do it for this live stream because I got to jump in a car and drive over the hump to Pahrump. God help me. So, hope everybody has a really great Sunday. Have some fun. Get some relaxation in before work starts on Monday. Like, subscribe, share, etc., all that stuff. What's my final spiel? Oh, yes. God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there, and I will hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Man of War. Oh, and Man of War and Lone Dragon, and of course, the lovely Lady Wendelin. Thank you for being in the chat. I super, super appreciate it. It's fun when you could, interact a little bit rather than just me talking all the time. My wife's like going, why do you talk all the time at home? Just leave me alone, woman. Okay, I will see you guys soon. Have fun. Bye-bye.